Greetings! We are thankful for the commitment you have made by joining our team. We rely on the dedication of people like you to maintain our high standards. Staff and volunteers play an integral role in the services Suluk-Minayawan Health Center provides to our patients and the communities we serve. We hope you will find your experience here at SLMHC to be uplifting, enjoyable, and rewarding. As a reminder, you can pause this presentation at any time to take some opportunities to read content or take further notes. Let's learn about SLMHC. Our mission, vision, and values define what we do as an organization, where we want to go, and the beliefs and behaviors that will get us there. Every member of our healthcare team has a specific role in maintaining the high quality of care that distinguishes Suluk-Minayawan Health Center. Each patient with whom you come in contact may judge his or her experience at Minayawan by the standards you set. It is extremely important for all of us to be responsive to the needs of our patients in everything we do in our continued effort to provide a center of excellence for local and First Nations healthcare. Every day, remember our shared values of compassion, respect, teamwork, and quality in everything you do. Please take a moment to read this slide. Here's a bit of background from where we came from. Prior to this building opening in 2010, we had two hospitals in Sioux Lookout. There was the Sioux Lookout Zone Hospital, which was federally funded, and the General Hospital, which was provincially funded. These two hospitals were operated completely independent of each other before 1997, when the four-party agreement came into place and amalgamated the two buildings. This is when Sioux Lookout-Minayawan Health Center was established. But it took 13 years of site preparation and construction to see the reality of one new state-of-the-art hospital, which we enjoy today. We also run a 20-bed facility called William A. George Extended Care. We are still working on expanding our long-term care facility and hope this is a reality soon, as there is a high demand for long-term care beds for our elders in our region. Our motto is excellence every time. Excellence means that patients feel that the service and quality of care they receive here is extraordinary. It means that employees feel valued. It also means that our doctors feel that their patients are getting great care. Excellence doesn't stop here, though, and we ask you to take time to think about how you, as a new employee, can help bring excellence in everything you do here at SLMHC. Strategic Plan. Sioux Lookout-Minayawan Health Center puts out a new strategic plan every 3 to 5 years. This guides the organization as we reflect on where we have been and look ahead to identify new goals as we continue to always strive for excellence. It's available to read on our website at slmhc.on.ca. As you know, we are based out of Sioux Lookout, but we provide hospital services to the communities of Pickle Lake and Savant Lake, as well as 28 First Nations communities north of us. So while we have 5,500 people here in Sioux Lookout whom we serve, we also serve another 25,000, and this population is rapidly growing. And so we are a pretty busy hospital. It's really important to understand our patients and who you are serving every day here at Minayawan. More than 80% of our patients arrive here by air from one of the 28 First Nations communities in our region. We need to fully understand that when a patient arrives, they have often traveled far, may have language barriers, may be tired, and may of course be anxious about their medical appointment or procedure. It's our job to make sure that they are getting excellent patient-centered services as soon as they step into our hospital. This is a typical trip for someone coming from a remote fly-in community. We may be used to a much easier route to the hospital. If we get sick when we live in an urban area, we drive to the emergency department or call an ambulance. If we have a medical appointment or need blood work or an x-ray at the hospital, we just drive or walk here. But for someone coming from the north, you can see their journey is a lot more complicated. During their journey here and while in Sioux Lookout for healthcare, they may have issues or barriers with transportation, language, or being unsure where to go. It's a complicated healthcare system, and we don't expect you to remember all of these steps. But what I hope you will take away from this is that it's not easy for most of our patients, and we ask for your empathy and compassion when serving them. This is why customer service is so important. And I'll talk a little bit about that next.
As we think about everything a patient has had to go through to get our medical services, it's a great time to start talking about the importance of customer service. Every employee and volunteer here is asked to uphold our mission, vision, and values. This is why taking the time to shine and really show you care is so important. How you define service shapes every interaction you have with your customers. We might think of shopping or buying things when we hear the word customer. Don't limit your definition of what service is to a basic idea of paying money for goods or services. This ignores the overall point of customer service. Here at SLMHC, our customers are our patients and everyone we interact with, including coworkers and physicians. Service should provide the customer with more than what they are buying. It should provide satisfaction. Our patients, they are buying our expertise, treatment, and healthcare services. The customer should walk away happy at the results of the interaction that they have had, not just content, but actually happy. In a healthcare setting, we want our clients to feel comfortable coming back to us and confident that we care for their needs. If they don't feel safe, respected, or comfortable talking with our staff, this can really negatively impact their health and well-being. A negative experience can also impact their family and friends, who they will talk to about their experiences here at Minoyawan. So who are your customers? Or as you will see, there are many different types of customers at Sulako Minoyawan Health Center. We pride ourselves on being patient-centered, service-oriented, and performance-focused. For us to be successful, we must know who our customers are. Here at Minoyawan, our customers are our patients, clients, visitors, residents, coworkers, physicians, vendors, supervisors. Basically, a customer is anyone we interact with. Every customer has different needs, but there are 5 different qualities of customer service. Friendliness. All interactions with customers should be polite and helpful. Empathy. This means to understand and feel for where the customer is coming from. Fairness. Customers want to feel they are receiving your attention and reasonable answers to their questions. Control. Customers want to feel their ideas and decisions have some influence on the outcome. Information. Customers want to know about available services and programs in a timely and understandable manner. Here are some examples of small adjustments to phrasing that we can make a big difference in achieving the right customer service approach. And remember our definitions of customers. Whether this is a patient asking you questions or a coworker or a visitor in the hospital, everyone that you interact with is a customer at Sulako Minoyawan Health Center. For instance, instead of saying, I don't know, say, I'll find out. And instead of saying, that's not my job, say, let me find the right person who can help you with that. You can pause here in this video now if you'd like to take a few minutes to read all of the examples. Excuses or saying that you don't know or can't help are obvious signs of poor customer service. Good customer service means accountability, responsibility, and taking action to satisfy the customer. Having discussed the importance of knowing how the customer feels and what not to say, let us address the notion of how to communicate well with an unsatisfied customer. When coming into contact with customers, communicating with them, or analyzing problems, do not forget to use the following methods. Listen. It is of primary importance when dealing with an unsatisfied or complaining customer to listen attentively to the complaint or grievance. Above all, be patient, attentive, and friendly. Express yourself apologetically. Think of terms like, we are sorry for this mistake, problem, and how can we work to solve this problem together? Do not argue, do not interrupt. This will only worsen the situation, especially if the customer is angry. Let the customer speak before you try to discuss anything that's happened. Do not lose your self-control. If you stay relaxed, customers will calm down. Admit the problem. If you can suggest a solution, then do so. If not, tell the customer what actions you will take and what actions will follow. Never make the mistake of promising something that you are unable to do. Involve the customer in problem solving. Suggest alternative solutions to the customer. Customers appreciate the opportunity to choose a way of solving the problem. Provide follow-up. Make sure that the promised measures are taken. If you do not fulfill what was promised and ignore the customer's complaint, the problem will only grow, and the next time it will be even more difficult to solve. Give the customer a way back. Sometimes the customers are wrong. You should let them leave the exchange with their dignity and without feeling awkward or embarrassed. Do not question the customer's correctness. From the beginning, always be open-minded towards the customer's opinion. While the customer may not always be right, they should not be made to feel wrong. Respect grants dignity and makes them feel like they deserve to be heard. We have policies covering the patient complaints and feedback processes. These can be viewed on Policy Tech, which is our program we use to share all of our policies and procedures here at Sulaka Minoyawan Health Center. And it is found on the employee intranet. Or you can check with your supervisor if you need assistance in locating a policy or procedure relating to patient relations. Sulaka Minoyawan Health Center is committed to ensuring that all complaints related to its services and programs are investigated in a fair, equitable, and timely manner. If you have a patient or visitor who wishes to lodge a complaint, please print the feedback form and assist them as needed to fill it out. Let a coworker know if you need help printing or locating the form. It is very important for you to take the time to help a patient fill out the form and ensure they know that their complaint or comment will be escalated to the Director of Patient Experience. For patient complaints, anyone can email feedback at slmhc.on.ca or contact the Director of Patient Experience by phone, in person, or via mail. These are followed up within 5 business days and will be brought to the appropriate manager or department as needed. Our website at slmhc.on.ca has a page called Patient Feedback, which has all the contact information for the public to issue a complaint or comment at any time. Remember, customer service is in everything you do at Minoyawan. Your attitude, interactions with coworkers and patients, and how you work with other people really impact how patients see our hospital and services.
Now we'll be moving on to discuss accessibility. As a reminder, you can pause this video at any time to review images or text or take any necessary notes. Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act, AODA, was passed in 2005 to ensure a more accessible Ontario for people with disabilities by the year 2025. AODA requires all service providers, including healthcare institutions, to identify, remove, and prevent barriers for people with disabilities within their organization. Often it is barriers, not disabilities, that prevent people with disabilities from participating in everyday life. The Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act suggests several different types of barriers to accessibility and establishes basic service standards in these areas, including customer service. This is about our service delivery to the public. Barriers in this area could include business practices, how we treat our patients and clients, and employee training. Built environment. This is about general access to, from, and within buildings and outdoor spaces. Barriers here could include counter heights, aisles, and door widths, parking and signs, as well as pedestrian access routes and signal systems. Employment. This is about hiring and retaining employees. Barriers here could include employment practices, policies and processes such as job advertisements, and interviewing practices. Information and communications. This is about information processing and communication to external and internal audiences. Barriers could include publications, software applications, and websites. Transportation. This is about transportation provided from service providers and includes accessible equipment such as lifting devices and ramps for transportation services, accessible routes, and emergency response plans. SLMHC service standards. We require accessible customer service policy, procedures and practices, staff training, a feedback method, AODA compliant communication methods, notices of service disruption. Meeting the requirements of SLMHC's customer service standard is about educating staff on customer service standards and reviewing policies and practices surrounding customer service to ultimately enable staff to provide good customer service to clients. Disabilities. The following slide contains tips on how to better serve people with the following disabilities: speech impairments, mental health disabilities, intellectual or developmental disabilities, deafness and hearing loss, blindness, and vision loss. Speech impairments. If you don't understand, please don't assume. Ask the client to repeat the information. If necessary, ask if another method of communicating would be easier for them. For example, a pen and paper. It may take the client longer to communicate what they need. Please be patient and understanding. Mental health disabilities. Be confident and reassuring. Always listen to the client. If someone appears to be in a crisis, ask them to tell you the best way that you can help. It may take a client longer to communicate what they need. Please be patient and understanding. Developmental disabilities. Please don't assume what a person can or cannot do. It's best to use simple words and short sentences. Make sure your customer understands what you have said. If you can't understand what a person is saying, please don't pretend, just ask again. Deafness or hearing loss. Always ask in a normal voice how you can help. Please don't shout. Reduce background noises such as radio or ringing phones, as this will be picked up by a hearing device and can cause confusion. Look at and speak directly to your client wherever possible. If necessary, ask if another method of communication would be easier, for example, a pen and paper. If necessary, remove your face mask while maintaining a 6-foot distance to remove the barrier that may be preventing the client from reading your lips accurately. Don't put your hand in front of your mouth when speaking. Again, it may take the client longer to communicate exactly what they need. Be patient and understanding. Visual impairments. Identify yourself when you approach your client and speak directly to them. It's best to speak normally and clearly. Never touch your customer without asking for permission. If you offer assistance, wait until you receive permission to do so. Offer your elbow to guide the person and walk slowly. Don't touch any service animals. Remember, they are working. Don't walk away without saying goodbye. General guidelines. Treat people with disabilities with the same respect and consideration that you have for everyone else. As always, be patient, smile, and be friendly. Speak normally, clearly, and directly to your client. Do not ignore them or only speak to their support person. Ask before you help. Don't touch any assistive devices without permission. Don't assume anything about what a person with a disability can and cannot do. If you don't understand, don't guess. Ask them to repeat the information as often as necessary. Just because a person has one disability doesn't mean that they have another. Don't assume a person with a disability requires assistance or extra attention for every visit. We'll now move on to discussing ethics and responsibilities here at Minoyawan. As a reminder, you can pause this video at any time. We have a code of ethics at SLMHC. It serves as a standard of conduct for the organization, the staff, and affiliates. It contains standards of ethical behavior for interactions with clients, other members of the health center or healthcare system, the community, and society as a whole. A code of ethics can be found in the policy number MAC.1.1.2. As this policy states, as a healthcare institution, we will honor the principles of bioethics in caring for our patients, peers, and the organization. Beneficence is the concept of doing good. Non-malfeasance is the concept of not doing any harm. Autonomy is the concept of respecting others, especially their rights to make their own decisions with respect to their lives and bodies. It is affected by traditions, culture, religion, and personal benefits. It includes the right to privacy and confidentiality. Justice means that each person is as deserving of respect and consideration as the next, regardless of age, gender, skin color, ethnic background, or religion. In bioethics, justice has to do with healthcare allocation. All people should have access to the medical care they need according to what is available. This does not mean that people should get the exact same health care, but the health care that is necessary and is best for them. Why we use a code of ethics. The fundamental objectives of the code of ethics are to maintain or enhance the overall quality of life, dignity, and well-being of every individual seeking healthcare service in our health center. and to create a more equitable, accessible, effective, and efficient healthcare system. As part of our striving to provide ethical care, SLMHC has devised a Bill of Rights and Responsibilities. When we say the words healthcare providers, we are talking about all employees and volunteers working in the health center. Healthcare services are based on trust and professional relationships because there is a difference in healthcare power. Our Bill of Rights serves to guide conduct and expectations for both clients and healthcare providers. We have a Bill of Rights because we understand there needs to be ground rules for everyone. This Bill of Rights promotes the rights of clients and healthcare providers. It also complements our goal of being a center of excellence and identifies the standards we need to meet to say we are providing excellence in all of our services. There are 6 fundamental rights associated with the SLMHC Bill of Rights and Responsibilities. Right number 1. As a client, you have the right to receive medical care that is safe, holistic, and culturally sensitive here at our healthcare facility. Based on the first right, clients and staff all have responsibilities. Clients are responsible for informing hospital staff if they do not understand or cannot follow healthcare instructions, informing the healthcare team if they wish to receive complementary healthcare services that address spiritual, emotional, or cultural needs. Staff are responsible for providing appropriate translation services based on the client's needs and educating ourselves that we may offer better culturally sensitive care. Right number 2. As a client, you have the right to receive clear answers to your questions and full explanations about all aspects of your care in order that you may make informed decisions and choices about your care and actively participate in decision-making processes. Responsibilities for right number 2. Clients are responsible for communicating accurately and truthfully with information that will assist the healthcare team in addressing healthcare concerns, being accessible to their healthcare provider at all times during admission. Staff are responsible for offering a safe and welcoming environment which encourages clients to freely express concern and information, introducing ourselves to clients, giving them our name and role in the delivery of their health care, asking appropriate questions in order to obtain relevant information, informing clients of all the information necessary to make an informed choice, providing clear answers and full explanations to client questions and concerns regarding all aspects of their care. Right number 3. As a client, you have the right to receive timely quality care and treatment in an accredited facility that employs qualified healthcare professionals. Clients are responsible for being proactive in developing and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, participating in decision-making regarding courses of care provided, being accountable for health outcomes related to self-imposed actions or decisions, expressing concerns and opinions. Staff are responsible for providing the most appropriate planned and coordinated care that can be offered, ensuring the healthcare team follows and maintains current professional standards of care, delivering health care in an environment that is in compliance with legislated health and safety standards, providing clients and families with information regarding the complaint process and feedback forms. Right number 4. As a client, you have the right to privacy, confidentiality, and the right to access health records and communications pertaining to your care. Responsibilities for right number 4. Based on the fourth right, clients should know they are entitled to privacy and confidentiality when discussing health issues with a caregiver and employee, reviewing their health records on request in consultation with their healthcare provider, and staff are responsible for ensuring health information is kept in secure and confidential areas only, maintaining confidentiality of patient information in all its forms, written, verbal, digital, and at all times and in all places, inside and outside the organization, obtaining permission to communicate information relevant to the client's healthcare management to anyone not directly involved in the client's care, providing a client access to their health records upon request in accordance with our SLMHC procedures. When we talk about the rights here for privacy, we need to remember especially that it's not only written information that is private. When talking to a coworker about any health information, you need to remember confidentiality. Hallway conversations or passing along information about a patient or client is not appropriate and is in violation of this important right to privacy. Right number 5. As a client, you have the right to be informed in a timely fashion of all expenses not covered by OHIP or non-insured health benefits that will be incurred by your health care at the hospital. Responsibilities for right number 5. Clients are responsible for being aware of and making decisions about all expenses not covered through OHIP or non-insured health benefits. Staff are responsible for informing clients about all expenses not covered by OHIP or non-insured health benefits during a client's time at SLMHC. Right number 6. As a client, you have the right to be informed of opportunities which enable you to participate in research for the betterment and future advancement of healthcare. Responsibilities for right number 6. Clients are responsible for following through on the plan of care agreed upon in consultation with their healthcare provider in order to maximize positive outcomes for their health and assist in the collection of reliable research information. Staff are responsible for ensuring that clients who participate in research opportunities are informed and the participation is voluntary. The Bill of Rights helps everyone at SLMHC increase communication and dialogue, place the onus on each patient that they need to take control of their health care, and that they are an active participant in the care they receive. It shows that as an organization, we are clear and transparent. It provides information so that everyone has the same understanding of what the expectations are, and provides ethical health care. Bringing it all together, the Code of Ethics is a framework upon which we base our actions. Our actions are shown by how we use the Bill of Rights, as well as our mission, vision, and values. Rights and responsibilities. Remember, everyone deserves safe health care. Everyone deserves to have a safe work environment. And the Code of Ethics and the Bill of Rights helps us to achieve both.
Next subject is our privacy policy. We touched on the importance of confidentiality and health information when discussing our Bill of Rights. When people enter the hospital, they are often involved in vulnerable situations. Therefore, our respect for them and their privacy is of paramount importance. Sulakaut Minoyawan Health Center collects personal information for the following purposes: for the delivery of direct patient care, the administration of the healthcare system, research, teaching, statistics, fundraising, and meeting legal and other regulatory requirements. This confidential information is protected by our Sulakaut Minoyawan Health Center privacy policy. Every person has the right for their personal health information to be kept confidential. As a hospital employee, you may see and hear confidential information. You may get so accustomed to being around this type of information that it may be easy to forget how important it is to keep it all private. If patients do not trust that their personal information will be kept confidential, they may be unwilling to reveal important information that could affect their treatment. Privacy is a basic right in our society. Safeguarding that right is our ethical and legal obligation at Sulakaut Minoyawan Health Center. If a patient's personal information is not kept confidential, that patient may no longer trust the hospital with the responsible care of their personal information. Patients may also take legal action against the organization or an individual employee, physician, or volunteer for any damages resulting from unlawful disclosure. The hospital may take disciplinary action, including the dismissal of any staff or volunteer involved in a breach of confidentiality. Patient information records are legally the property of the hospital. However, any information contained within the records belongs to the patient directly. Patients may have access to their records, unless a physician has deemed it would be harmful for them to view this information. If a patient requests copies of the record, they should be referred directly to health records. The Personal Health Information Protection Act allows for the disclosure of personal information only when it is necessary for the delivery of patient care or healthcare management. This could include sharing information with the patient's family doctor, a laboratory, another healthcare provider, or representatives from the provincial health insurance plan. This could also mean disclosing information to comply with the legal and regulatory requirements, research requests, patient satisfaction surveys, fundraising and teaching, or other statistical requirements. Patients must give written consent before any information about them can be released in any form for any purpose not previously outlined in the patient privacy policy. Keep patient information in secure areas only. Quickly report any breaches of confidentiality to your supervisor or the Sulakaut Minoyawan Health Center privacy officer. Ask to see identification if you notice an unauthorized person viewing any patient documents or records. Ensure that all confidential documentation is shredded or placed in the appropriate shred box for proper disposal. Only share personal information with other healthcare workers on a need-to-know basis. Never share written or spoken patient information with strangers or anyone else without prior written consent from the patient. Even a patient's family members may not be privy to his or her confidential patient information. Never discuss confidential patient information in busy hallways or elevators where others can easily overhear your conversation. Keep any confidential patient information you may accidentally overhear directly to yourself. Photographs can only be taken at the hospital if a client has first signed a written consent form. Please do not use your camera phone to take or share images. Even if you have permission, you don't know who or what you might photograph in the background. Never discuss hospital activities and patient information on social media. We have policies specific to this and remind all employees that actions that would be illegal or in violation of privacy policies in the offline world is also not permitted when it occurs online. What happens at the hospital stays at the hospital. Please do not share what doesn't belong to you. The Health Records Department has highly skilled employees who deal with the laws and regulations surrounding privacy and the disclosure of patient information. Feel free to contact the Health Records Department with any relevant privacy questions or concerns. The Sioux Lookout Minoyawan Health Center Privacy Officer works in the health records area and can be reached at 737-6551 and would be pleased to help you with any questions you may have.
Harassment and the respectful workplace. What is violence, bullying, and harassment? These terms are used to describe actions of an individual or individuals towards another person that causes that person to fear for their safety in some way. Goals of this presentation are to make everyone aware of these types of behavior, to ensure that staff know such behavior is not acceptable, to give support to those who have had these incidents happen to them, and to explain the steps to reporting and investigating such incidents when they occur. Definition. Bullying is typically a form of repeated, persistent, and aggressive behavior which may be direct or subtle and directed at an individual or individuals that is intended to cause, or should be known to cause, fear and distress and/or harm to another person's body, feelings, self-esteem, or reputation. Examples of bullying can include constant criticism, cursing, name-calling, repeated insults, recalling your past mistakes unnecessarily, expressing negative expectations constantly, expressing distrust, threatening an action of harm such as saying, "You'll be sorry," or other foreboding comments. Effects of bullying. Some examples of these symptoms include shock, anger, feelings of frustration and/or helplessness, increased sense of vulnerability, loss of confidence, physical symptoms such as an inability to sleep or even a loss of appetite, psychosomatic symptoms such as stomach pains, headaches, panic or anxiety, especially about going to work, family tension and stress, inability to concentrate, and low morale and productivity. According to the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety, people who are the targets of bullying may experience a range of negative effects. These reactions include both physical and psychological symptoms. Harassment is any improper conduct by an individual that is directed at and offensive to another person or persons in the workplace, and that the individual knew or ought reasonably to have known would cause offense or harm. It comprises any objectionable act, comment, or display that demeans, belittles, or causes personal humiliation or embarrassment, and any act of intimidation or threat. Characteristics of harassment. It usually reflects an ongoing pattern of conduct, but can result from a single incident. It does not have to be intentional. Harassment is defined by its effects on the victim. Open or subtle expressions of hostility, including physical expressions, verbal assaults or abuse. This can include gossiping, unwelcome jokes, subtle innuendos, or taunting. Examples of harassment: displaying pornographic, racist, or otherwise offensive materials, unnecessary, unwanted, or even playful physical interaction, sexual suggestions, offers, remarks, rubbing, leering, staring, requests, suggestions, or even hints of a sexual nature. Questions or comments about a person's sex life, marital relations, relationship status with a partner of the same sex, or sexual attractiveness. Saying a person belongs at home or that he or she just can't cut it in a particular job. Recognizing that this behavior, harassment, is unacceptable is an important first step in being able to manage and prevent it. What does it matter? Harassment, bullying, and violence negatively impacts patient care and team dynamics. Patient care is the reason we are all here to begin with. Conflict resolution. Deal with the issue before it becomes an issue. Unresolved conflicts can increase workplace tensions. This may lead to situations where bullying and harassment can occur. Conflict resolution process. In order to maximize how we provide quality patient care, SLMHC recognizes its responsibility to foster a workplace centered on compassion, respect, quality, and teamwork throughout the pursuit of excellence every time. We see policy HW.1.070, Workplace Issue Resolution. This policy provides processes and guiding principles for dispute resolution. Employees are responsible for following this policy when they have legitimate complaints or concerns. There are 4 stages outlined in policy HW.1.070 for working through an issue with a coworker or supervisor. The first stage is to speak to the person if you see or perceive a workplace issue. Using the principles of timeliness, specificity, respect, and transparency, speaking with the persons can help to address concerns and move forward in a meaningful way. If taking action steps in the first stage of resolving workplace issues does not help you to resolve the issue, you should bring the issue forward to the person's immediate supervisor. You can follow the steps from stage 1. You can see the full chart on policy HW.1.070 and ask for feedback or a response regarding the status of the issue. The final stage, if it is not resolved by the immediate supervisor or next level of management, is reporting the issue to Human Resources, who will assist in determining the next steps or reporting to an external agency if mandated by legislation. SLMHC Policy on Violence and Harassment Prevention. The policy of SLMHC is to provide a safe work environment that is free from fear, violence, threats, bullying, and all forms of harassment. Everyone at Silicate Minayawan Health Center has the right to work in an environment where they are treated with civility, decency, dignity, and respect. SLMHC Harassment Policy. No abuse will be tolerated, all complaints will be investigated, and the complaint must be put in writing. Retaliation will not be tolerated. Individuals experiencing these incidents can contact a counselor using the Employee and Family Assistance Plan to deal with the feelings, emotions, and outcomes of violence. Debriefing will be done by the appropriate supervisor after an incident has been officially reported. Please note that according to this policy, harassment does not include criticism, even if poorly delivered, ineffective communication, or rudeness, unless it is extreme and repetitive. Report the incident of violence and fill out the Workplace Violence Event Report and Investigation form available to you through Occupational Health. This should be filled out in conjunction with your supervisor. Depending on the severity of the incident, other staff may need to be notified as well. The staff member's immediate supervisor will review the incident and investigate and notify the appropriate individuals. If required, the clinical coordinator or person on call will officially ask for police involvement with the permission of the staff member. Documentation in conjunction with this policy includes workplace violence event and investigation forms, a response by the person who is accused, and a resolution of the complaint. Reporting harassment. If you saw a staff member hitting another staff member, would you do nothing? No. You would report it. Why is hitting with words any different? What can you do? If gossip or negative conversation is occurring, change the subject. Talk to your supervisor or clinical coordinator about what problems are surfacing in your area. Provide support to the person who is facing harassment. Putting the health in healthcare. How will you know that your healthcare organization is healthy and free of bullying and harassment? What does a healthy workplace look like? You will see staff working together, positive, polite, respectful behavior, teamwork among staff, and a place where people want to work. Bottom line, harassment, bullying, and violence negatively impacts patient care and sabotages team dynamics. All forms of harassment, bullying, and violence will not be tolerated and are not in line with our mission, vision, and values here at SLMHC.
In the event of an emergency, please remain calm and listen to the overhead for any additional instructions. Mock fire alarms are commonly held the last Thursday of the month. If a true fire alarm is sounded, you may be instructed to evacuate, code green, at the appropriate time in conjunction with the arrival of EMS, fire services, and personnel. Code white is the most commonly called emergency code at Silicon-Minoyawan Health Center's hospital site. If you notice a violent or behavioral incident or the potential for one to develop, please call security or speak to your supervisor or team for support. Please feel free to pause here to review the emergency codes. These codes are also found on the back of your name tag and are posted throughout the facility. Security information. Security office extension 6572, security cell phone 807-737-8906. Infection control. Healthcare-associated infections are the most common serious complication of hospitalization. In Canada, there are 220,000 incidents of healthcare-associated infections every year, resulting in more than 8,000 deaths. Did you know how important hand hygiene is to preventing healthcare-associated infections? Studies show that an increase in hand hygiene and adherence of only 20% can result in a 40% reduction of infections. The power to make the difference is in your hands. Most healthcare providers believe they are already practicing good hand hygiene, but we can always do better. Hand hygiene in healthcare. Healthcare providers move from patient to patient and room to room while providing care and working in the patient care environment. This movement, while carrying out tasks and procedures, provides many opportunities for the transmission of organisms on hands. Everyone needs to pay attention to hand hygiene. While you may not be interacting directly with patients, depending on where you work in the hospital, you will be moving around Silicon-Minoyawan Health Center amongst patients and patient care areas. Transmission of organisms. Transmission of organisms by hands of healthcare providers between two patients can result in healthcare-associated infections. Why does hand hygiene work? Hand hygiene with alcohol-based hand rub, correctly applied, kills organisms in seconds. Hand hygiene with soap and water, done correctly, removes infectious organisms. There are two ways to clean hands. The first is alcohol-based hand rub, when hands are not visibly soiled, and the second is, of course, hand washing with soap and water. Hand washing technique matters. It is important that skin on hands remain intact to reduce the spread of organisms. To clean hands properly, rub all parts of the hands with alcohol-based hand rub or soap and running water. Pay special attention to fingertips, between fingers, backs of hands, and the base of the thumbs. Keep nails short and clean. Remove rings and bracelets. Do not wear artificial nails. Remove chipped nail polish. Make sure that sleeves are pushed up and do not get wet. Clean for a minimum of 15 seconds. Dry hands thoroughly. Apply lotion to hands frequently. When to wash your hands. When coming into the building, before going to your workspace, before preparing, handling, serving, or eating food, after personal body functions, before putting on and after taking off gloves. Whenever you may doubt the necessity for doing so, better safe than sorry. Two different environments. Healthcare environment. Environment beyond the patient's immediate area. In a single room, this is outside the room. In a multiple room, this is everything outside of the patient's bed area. Patient environment. This is the patient's area. In a single room, this is everything in the patient's room. In a multiple room, this is everything in the immediate proximity to the patient. While all indications for hand hygiene are important, there are some essential movements in healthcare settings where the risk of transmission is the greatest and hand hygiene must be performed. This concept is what your 4 moments for hand hygiene is all about. Before initial patient or patient environment contact, the word initial and contact are important in making decisions of when to clean hands. After body fluid exposure risk, the word risk is important in making decisions of when to clean hands. Hand sanitizer is available at stations conveniently located near clinical areas and elsewhere throughout the hospital. Feel free to carry your own supply of hand sanitizer for frequent and easy access.
In conclusion, today we have gone over an introduction to the organization. As an employee, you have responsibilities to uphold our mission, vision, and values. And you also have responsibilities, just like everyone here, to our clients and the organization, the community, and to yourself. Responsibilities to the client. The client is the center of our circle of care. The client is why we are here and why we have a job, who we do our job ultimately for. The clients can include the family, visitors, even the client's community members. They should be treated with dignity and respect at all times. Responsibilities to the organization. We must uphold the mission, vision, and values. We must conduct all personal and professional activities with honesty, integrity, fairness, dignity, and good faith in a manner that will reflect well upon the organization. We must facilitate resolution of conflicts and have zero tolerance for abuse. Following policies and procedures, the Bill of Rights and Responsibilities, and promote care of our clients. We have responsibilities to the community, to participate in dialogue, to promote quality health care in our community, province, and country, and to show respect for ourselves and others. Responsibilities to yourself include representing and respecting yourself, listening to others, asking if you don't know something. We are all here to help and to work as a team. Maintaining a healthy work-life balance and, of course, engaging in healthy practices like frequent hand washing. Welcome to the team. As a reminder, please speak with your supervisor for a full orientation in your department. If you have any questions, remember that you can reach out to Human Resources or anyone here at the SLMHC facility. You are an important part of everything we do. Here at SLMHC, we can't wait to work with you.